VGK development camp ended Thursday. One player stands out. We'll talk about that player next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hi, everyone. Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas, the only place on the planet where we could see Victor Wembanyama and Britney Spears collide. I threw that out there for you. It's WTF. Subscribe again to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Of course, you can find us wherever you get your podcast. Also find us on Twitter. He is at TDChrisG. I am at Tony Dasco. And, of course, at Locked On VGK. So, Chris, development camp ended yesterday. The one player that stood out to me, and I'm sure to you as well, and everyone, was Jackson Hallam. He just completed his freshman season at the University of Michigan, and he was VGK's 91st pick in the third round of the 2020 draft, and he's played in the USHL. And then he went to the University of Michigan. I'll tell you what, he was dominant. He scored twice in like 45 seconds in the game yesterday. And I was watching it. Again, it looked like one of those horribly produced AHL, broadcasts. But okay. But I still kind of stuck with it. And he scores once, just takes the puck himself, speedy, into the zone, scores. And they said that it was Isaiah Seville, but someone was disputing that, of course, on Twitter. I just went off of the live stream, right? And then off of a turnover, very quickly, boom, boom, and he scores again. Very explosive. Earlier, he had the first goal of the camp. He had the shootout goal in their first scrimmage, and he's definitely on the radar now. So a freshman at the University of Michigan, again, drafted 3 seasons ago. So when do we see him finally surface here in the AHL, in Henderson, or down with the Ghost Pirates? Where do you think his career takes him next?
You mentioned University of Michigan. Was he in his final season down there?
Freshman
or up
season.
there? Freshman. Okay, so I mean, it depends on
because
how long he's going to stay there.
Right, you could play professionally, and then you could go on to the college route. So he was drafted 3 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what his trajectory is, but he was the first player that Ryan Craig mentioned when asked about standouts. He also talked about Brisson, Cormier, et cetera, et cetera. Quick shout out, buddy of mine, Josh Real was actually one of the linesmen for that game, the last one yesterday that was tossed up there. But young kid. I started working with him a couple of years ago, and I don't even know if he's 21 years old right now. And he got to work the lines and, basically a professional level atmosphere. So cool. Good on you, Josh. If you watch this, congrats. And he's one of the people actually taught me how to ref. So take that for good, for bad, or for worse, I guess. Going back on to camp, like I said, Craig, it's nice to hear Ryan Craig talk. I watched his presser.
His sounded like same here.
He's laid back. He's enjoying it. He's smiling. He's not beaten down yet or anything like that. So, nice and upbeats. And it's Craig is going to be a good voice down there. I think he's going to be he seems like a really good natural fit. A lot of his comments in his presser yesterday were surrounded by developing relationships. That was a term I heard a couple of times, building those relationships with the players, with the support staff, with the coaches, with everyone that's going to be around him. So you can see that Craig certainly has a mission to bring a different type of culture, keyword, a different type of culture down to the AHL level. And I don't know if there was that same culture with Viveros. I'm not saying there was or wasn't. I honestly don't know. But Craig is on a mission. Craig is on a mission, I think, seems like.
No, that's really good. He's definitely a company man. There's no doubt about that. And Coach Craig said
he's safe. He's safe.
Yeah. And they said that he accomplished, he told the media that he accomplished what they wanted to in the camp. And he said that there were some guys that really stood out that we didn't know about that they're going to bring back for the rookie camp in September. Back to Hallam. He by far was the best skater on the ice, even through the fogginess of the AHL broadcast. He by far, to me, was the best skater out there. At Michigan, 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points, 39 games. I think one more year, perhaps, of college, and then who knows, right? Then they start. I want to see him be developed, though. He definitely has a lot of skill in his toolbox, and I just really think that he's a good player that they could develop into something really special. And I hate to say that, and I know it puts pressure on someone, but again, he's got all of this skill and skating ability. He's so fast. I mean, he's got to be one of the fastest skaters in college hockey today.
Just going through some of his old stats, like he was a Green Bay Gambler at the USHL.
Right.
But basically a point per game clip for a while, looking at his University of Michigan stats, like you said, 17 points in his freshman year. And we're not talking, a second or third tier type of college intramural. We're talking the University of Michigan as a freshman doing these things. Obviously, Craig and Cassie have nothing to do with it. McCrimmon will evaluate him a little bit deeper and see if the time is now to push that career along a little bit, or to leave him possibly in the University of Michigan, and you have to wonder what he wants as well. He being Hallam, does he want to make that jump, or does he simply want to take the slow route? I mean, it's never hurts staying in school as a hockey player until you're ready. So we'll see how it all shakes out. I mean, hockey's going to be there for a long time for him, it seems like. So hopefully he can do it on his terms, which will hopefully be the right terms.
It was a good week for the development camp prospects as they went to the fireworks at Red Rock, hung out at the pool, went to the Aviators game. They were the all Summerlin team, basically. And again, Hallam did mention that a lot of the players, because it's very quick in development camp, very structured and what have you. They did do some charity work as well, which I thought was awesome. They took a cooking class, but Hallam said that they battled through a lot of soreness, because they just were out there battling every day. One of the jankiest things I think I've ever seen. Oh no, I'll save that.
I'm scared.
I'll save that for WTF.
Somebody
accused me of being too nice and too objective yesterday.
Yeah, they know nothing about you. There's a first. Hey, thanks for watching the show the first time. But back to what you said about the being in the community, being visible in the charity, doing community initiatives and things like that. These are the core values of the Golden Knights. And let me think about this for a second. There is a saying up in City National. I can see it when I'm reffing from the ice level, because I'm not looking at the games when I'm reffing. I'm looking up at other things, apparently. Is it community service is a contact sport? It's something regarding being involved in the community. I wish I could recall exactly what it said. But point being is, you can have these signs up, right? We've all had these corporate jobs at some time where there's these just garbage memos in the back of house, or these signs that tell you how to act in the front of house and all that. And then it's another thing when you have your people, your players, your employees out there in the community in a nearly daily basis doing things. And I think sometimes that possibly goes unnoticed. So good on the AHL, good on Ryan Craig, good on the team as a whole for starting it now, that, hey, if you're going to be a Golden Knight down the road, you're not only going to be out here playing hockey and getting your car washed every day, you're going to be out there doing things. You're going to be out there on your own time, helping the community and stuff like that.
Should have groomed them by getting the car washed, though, repeatedly.
Maybe they did. Day. Well, mostly half these kids can't drive. And they're I mean, listen, they're staying at Red Rock. I mean, they're staying really right next door at Red Rock on the company dime. So they're getting groomed just fine. They're getting groomed just fine.
You could tell they're rookies. They have to walk over and carry their luggage, in their equipment.
They'll be okay. But successful camp, definitely.
He said that it was a solid camp, and he also mentioned Patrick Gay had a good camp, and Brendan Brisson in his 14th VGK development camp did pretty well as well.
Well, I'm curious about Brisson. This is really going to be a make or break season.
Yeah,
I think
starting to feel that too.
I think it's make or break. I mean, I think we're going to have an idea if Brisson is going to be a Cody Glass? Maybe like, okay, let me say this differently. The ceiling, which is even worse, no disrespect to Cody Glass, but the ceiling of a Cody Glass, or is he going to be a longtime AHL player that flirts with the big games, with the big team? Or will he take that next step? And I don't know if he necessarily took a big enough step last season. I mean, we were talking, Tony, like we thought he would have an active role with the Golden Knights this previous season. We really did. And you look at all the injuries and how deep they had to go. And Brisson was never even mentioned as a potential to come in at the national level. So we'll see. I mean, these kids take time. You know, we're talking about Jackson Hallen being a freshman in college and him possibly making the jump. So it takes time. We need to be patient here. And the Golden Knights do have the luxury of patience in the sense that they got a pretty good, 20, 21, 22 forwards where they don't need to peel down to Brisson yet to give him at least one more season to get it right.
Jack Eichel said on Toronto's TSN 1050 yesterday.
Which quote is this going to be?
Well, no, that he's going to get his turn. We'll start off with something cool. He's going to get his turn with the cup coming up next week. They need to have a stinking calendar so we know who has the cup. Where's the cup today? Where is Waldo and where is the stinking cup? We'll talk about Jackie Aces in that interview coming your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take your first swing at betting Major League Baseball on FanDuel and get 10 times your first bet amount in bonus bets up to $200. That's right. You put down just $20 and you will land $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. That's $200 that you could spend on betting everything from the money line to the over-under to who you think will have the first home run in the game. It is on the app. The app is safe and secure, super easy. Plus, when you win, you get paid instantly. There's no better place to bet on Major League Baseball than on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. So sign up today and visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get up to $200 in bonus bets. That's FanDuel.com/lockedon. FanDuel, the official partner of Major League Baseball. Back on Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. We appreciate you making us your first listen each and every day. No, I am not cold. It was just something that I grabbed out of the closet, Chris. I'm just wearing a sweatshirt today. And of course, you can find us.
I'm warm. I am hot from this sunburn right now.
Yeah, you are definitely. It's starting to peel too. Great. That's really cool. Okay, so Jack Eichel, we were talking about Eichel right before the break. And of course, they never appear in the media here. So, of course, you have to tune in to Canadian radio. Canadian media, TSN 1050 was the spot in Toronto yesterday. And Eichel talked about everything from taking his shirt off at the parade, which he said he took the under. It was 7 minutes, he said officially, that he took his shirt off. Again, he's going to have his day with the cup.
His family set the line at 30 minutes, I think. He went way under.
He said 7 minutes and it was done. Don't you wish that we could follow the cup, though, seriously on its journey and see where it's going? And do they have someone that documents this with photos and videos? I know a lot of it we shouldn't see, but.
So one really cool thing, actually, little plug for my card collecting, but in Upper Deck Hockey Series 1, Series 2, and Extended Series, they actually have a really cool, what's called an SP. That means short print. It's a harder card to find, and it's actually called Day with the Cup. So it's a picture of that particular player's day. Well, it could be either their day with the cup where they're, wherever they are, or it could be a picture from ice level with the cup. And it'll be really, really cool collecting those cards in the next seasons of hockey cards that come out in 23-24. Only problem is going to be is that they're approximately really, really expensive because of that Connor Bedard dude. So it's going to be a little bit of a, you have to pay a little premium to get your hands on those cards, but a really cool card. Just check them out, like the previous ones with Tampa and Colorado and all that stuff.
We're going to get into, again, the grand finale here momentarily, but he also talked about getting a local tattoo artist, right, to put that Stanley Cup tat on his thigh, which I don't know if that's a good spot. He said that he would always do that if he won the cup. And then he talked about, well, they don't have to get a real job, so they can have tats on their face if they like. Talked about all the luck and bounces and everything that goes into winning a Stanley Cup, and we saw that for sure. The legend continues the legend of Phil Kessel, who definitely has to be in the Nathan's hot dog eating contest next year, don't you think? Legend continues for Phil Kessel. Eichel, said he's such a great, he said that this is such a good guy to have around. He said when he walks into a room, either you are laughing at Phil Kessel or he's just laughing with everyone else. He seems like, and look about one thing that really stands out, the personality of Jack Eichel's really coming out, and that here's
No,
this
he's locker room cancer. He's a locker room
I
cancer.
know.
No
Here's
one
this
likes
locker room
him. He's
cancer.
terrible. Can't believe you signed him.
Again, yeah, poor teammate and
Terrible.
everything. And everyone seems to gravitate, I think, towards Eichel, to be quite honest. So, okay, before game 5, the day before, and that we have to do it in the Eichel Kessel voice or no?
You go right ahead.
If you guys make me get on a plane back to Florida, I swear to God, I'm going to kill you guys. That's what he said, right?
He did say that, and then I
took
guess
it. I took it word for word.
That was pretty good. And Kessel doesn't like to fly. Apparently, that was something else that came out of that.
But him doing the Kessel voice was next level.
I think the VGK media team and social team and all that.
Make me get on the plane one more time. I'm gonna kill you.
Golden Knight. I'm sure the production team. I'm sure Tyler, you're watching this right now. I'll give you a freebie here. Set up like I don't know, America's Got Talent type of judge show or American Idol, and you have 10 different Golden Knights do a Phil Kessel impression. And then you make a video out of this.
Well, do you have one for us?
I don't have. I would just say "a" 6 times because that's all he does every other word.
On.
One takeaway that I do want to get. Well, we're kind of being goofy here, but underrated comments that Jack Eichel made about the tattoo. He wanted to get a local artist to do it, and he mentioned something about the passion and appreciation the artist would have for doing that, and that's something right there that does tell you about power and strength in community, being visible in the community, all the things we just talked about, the AHL kids doing. So again, it's clicking. It's clicking top to bottom. I did have an article come out yesterday, Thursday, on Vegas Hockey Now, talking about the positive culture of the Golden Knights. And my quote was basically, the positive culture of the Vegas Golden Knights is the best kept secret that no one outside of Vegas knows about nor understands. And it's a very fair statement. And when you watch all these, and listen, I get it, a Stanley Cup makes things a lot better, but even if they would not have won the cup, even if they would have gone out against Edmonton, there was still a very positive culture throughout the locker room for the entire season. And it's all these core values from being, good teammates, from McCrimmon bringing the right people in place and finding the right players to support players when they bring him in. It's not just about bringing a player in to, to get a line one center. It's not just about bringing in Jack Eichel to be the line one center. It's, do we have the players around him in the locker room to support him? Jack Eichel, again, we're going off a McCrimmon quote here. He was a young captain in Buffalo with a lot of responsibility. And now he comes to Vegas in a room full of captains who have long postseason experience, who have won the Stanley Cup, and they know what it takes. So, little things like that just kind of give you a taste of the culture. And again, Jack Eichel just simply getting a tattoo, but not just going to any Joe Schmo and any corner shop on the strip to do it. He wanted to make sure it was someone who would appreciate doing the tattoo itself.
That's so cool. And if you folks don't stay with us, for WTF, we're gonna kill you.
I am so gonna. I'm gonna make sure Kessel sees this. I can make this happen. I'm gonna make sure he sees this. He's gonna grill you.
It's WTF. It comes your way next, right here on Locked On Golden Knights. It is that time again. It's time for WTF What the Friday. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for joining us. Of course, subscribe on YouTube, Locked On Golden Knights, and make sure that you listen to our podcast wherever you get your podcast. Find us on Twitter. He is at TD Chris G. I am at Tony Dasco. I'm a little spicy today. And of course, it is at Locked On VGK. It's that time for WTF. Okay, no more whiny voice for me. That kind of hurt my throat, dude. Okay, So let's get into WTF, and we've got some really good comments from a lot of our good friends out there. WTF, I'm not sure if I like this or not, Chris, that VGK broke the tradition by having their names engraved on the cup before the players and staff get their day with the cup. WTF.
Why is that WTF?
I don't, because I just want to throw something out there because they said I was being too nice. So WTF, why was this
WTF
tradition?
Tony, that was garbage.
Why was this why was this tradition? Why was this not broken sooner?
So now we're supporting the Golden Knights.
Why did it take 100 years to do this? I don't know which way I'm going. I said at the beginning, I prefaced it by saying, I don't know if I like it or not.
Tony is Clark Griswold in European Vacation, stuck in the roundabout, and you can't get out.
That's me.
Now.
I just cannot get out of there.
No, I think part of that is, I don't know. I think a lot of that comes down to the culture, comes down to the ownership, the excitement. How many times here's the real takeaway, I guess. How many times after this next month will these players be able to show their kids and show their family their name on the cup?
That's cool.
It's not an easy thing to do again and to get around the Stanley Cup. So I think that's awesome. And that's the moment right there. That's the money shot for these families.
Okay. And you would like to see a routing, though, so we know where the cup is at. So people don't get creepy and go onto their Instagram.
Exactly.
That's
like you already do, but yeah. You follow.
No. I follow the wags. WTF from Norma Dale, at Norma Dale 20. I noticed that only a handful of NHL teams congratulated our VGK on winning the cup. WTF. No, that's a good point, though. I know Edmonton never tweeted out congratulations.
I think they got the congrats after the series, though.
Did the Sharks say anything when they were at the podium?
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
Listen, the Sharks are on step 2 of a 47 rebuild right now. They're irrelevant.
Okay. But nonetheless, I think that there's still some bitterness out there. WTF. Go ahead.
And what we don't know is, it's all ceremonial crap when they're doing that at the podium, just so it's in the public eye. We don't know what conversations, who called McCrimmon, who called Foley and all that, so I take that with a little bit of grain of salt, even when the Sharks are involved. WTF. So I did the positive culture article yesterday, and
I countered that by saying that the season was rigged on the Locked On Avalanche.
I know,
podcast.
Yeah. Tony was on Locked On Avalanche. That's probably coming out today on their channel.
Look, it's today on their channel. We'll post it
tomorrow,
on
our channel tomorrow, so we have some weekend content and stuff like that, and you guys can grill Tony for that one.
Oh, I'm going to get grilled.
So again, the positive culture that no one outside of Vegas understands. Some clown from Oklahoma hits me and says, "Oh, tell that to Marc-Andre Fleury about the culture of the Golden Knights." It's like, get over the Fleury situation. Like whether you're a Vegas fan and out of town fan, like seriously, get over the Marc-Andre Fleury situation. So what? He might have, and I think this has been refuted by Fleury himself, but let's assume for a second it wasn't. Fleury found out on Twitter he got traded. Get over it. I don't care. No one in Vegas cares anymore. I'm sorry. No one in Vegas cares anymore. There is a business to this team, and there is a way they do their business. And if they didn't give Marc-Andre Fleury that courtesy phone call a half hour before the trade, I don't care. It changes nothing. Move on, people. Tony had his hand up. What do you got, Tony?
No, I said I do. I'm still bitter about that.
Oh, okay. I thought you had a comment.
WTF development camp. Jankiness. Both teams, every player in development camp, they had to cram into the UNLV locker room over there at City National.
Pretty funny.
They're trying to start a new tradition, or I don't know what, maybe the prissiness of the NHLers. They didn't want these scrubs, these prospects in the locker room. I don't know what they do. I don't know. In any event.
See, they've put them in the locker rooms before, like in the other ones.
They wanted the prospects to daydream about being in the NHL. They wouldn't let them in there. And so they were all crammed in the one stinking UNLV locker room where they were overflowing in there. And then when they came on the ice, I was watching on TV. There's just a log jam for everyone to get on there. What if there's some spiciness going on?
It was all the clowns getting out of the clown car, right?
Yeah, there you go. So in any event, WTF, give these guys some space, man. Give them an area where they could get ready and be prepared. WTF.
WTF, I appreciate finally there being some trust in Kelly McCrimmon. Me and Tony have talked about this probably 3 different times this week about the goalie situation. I've wrote about it at least twice this week on Vegas Hockey Now. And people are just grilling the both of us for being concerned. We're not saying the goalies are going to fail, but we're concerned about the lack of starts that Aiden Hill and Logan Thompson have. I got their names right. Oh my God. We're concerned about the lack of starts they've had throughout their career. We're concerned about their recent injuries issue. We're concerned that Patera is the third goalie right now. These are legit concerns, and yet every time we bring this up, we're getting torn to shreds right now. So WTF, the Vegas fans, I'm glad that you're trusting McCrimmon, and we trust McCrimmon. Well, I trust McCrimmon too. Tony might maybe a little bit. I'm glad that that's all working out, but this could be an issue that pokes his head out, and it might happen really quickly at some point. Now, again, hopefully McCrimmon's got a plan for when and if this does happen, and I'm glad everyone trusts them, but there's some concern there. Just look at their starts, go back to their career and look at their starts and tell me you're nice and comfortable. This is all going to work out. I had one person even say, no, they're going to be fine. They're going to alternate games to keep them healthy, so they're not going to get injured. That's basically what they did last season, and they both broke down. Yeah. WTF. There you go. It's WTF, what the Friday, by the way. It's what the Friday. It's what that stands for.
Yeah, WTF, sort of. And WTF, I just, you were talking about the Vacation series, Chevy Chase, but Vegas Vacation, they filmed on the UNLV campus, some parts of that. So I was sort of a co-ed, I think, at that time, maybe on the cusp, hanging out, whatever. But yeah, they did have a lot of filming of Vegas Vacation.
And at UNLV, where did they? UNLV. What did they use? What would they have used?
For outdoor, there were some outdoor shots there.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Filmed on location, doesn't have. Although apparently Las Vegas is becoming the next Hollywood. What's up with that?
Yeah, no kidding, right? And
great. More people in this town. Lovely, thanks.
Do you remember the TV show Vegas? We're getting off track.
I do. No, I remember. I had a picture with Josh Daham. Daham, right? Damal is his name. Danny.
Yeah. So anyway, so they used to film that everywhere around the city, and they would do things on campus. One time, a running Rebel game at the old convention center. They had a chase scene at halftime that they filmed. It was so much fun. Those are some cool days. Okay.
Well, the one thing I will say real fast, and you can jump on, is I'm glad I was not living in Vegas for that series, because I loved watching that show.
It was such a great show. They were everywhere.
But if I had to guess, a lot of local Vegas people, I mean, the facial recognition, and when someone walks into a casino, they can see a gun through their jacket. This stuff doesn't exist, but it was fun. It was fun. Go ahead.
Okay. No. Okay. I'm going to take it a step further. So they used to film at the old Desert Inn, the DI, right?
Wow. Okay.
And so my friends would try to prank me, they would page, because you could still page, right? Back in the days where you could go right over the sound system and page
Frank Sinatra.
So they would be paging they knew I loved the show and watched it every week, paging Dr. Cardasco, Dr. Tony Cardasco. It was never in any series, but they would do that when they knew that they were filming there. So kind of cheap way to get thrills around.
That's fun, actually. If one of those would have actually made it on somehow. That's awesome.
We don't stop at anything to try to get pub. Okay. At Dart Tommy 774.
Oh boy, what's Tommy got?
Oh, no, it's a good one. No, he said, WTF, not trying to get ahead of myself here, but looking around the Pacific Division, I don't see any team making significant enough improvements to challenge the core of VGK that they've established and retained heading into 2024.
Seattle.
Get all these characters in a tweet. Health will be our biggest opponent from a pack div repeat. WTF. That's a good take.
It's a good take. Seattle is really fast responding. Seattle, I think, takes a step forward. Edmonton, I don't believe in, and I'm getting grilled. I actually did another not to keep plugging myself here, but I did another article about the top 3 threats in the Pacific to the Golden Knights. And
Who are they?
1 to 3, I went Seattle, Los Angeles, Edmonton third, just because I don't trust Edmonton. I do not trust Edmonton. I don't trust their GM. I don't trust Jay Woodcroft. And they are a 2-trick pony named Draisaitl and McDavid, and then you throw the power play in there. 7-4 wins you a lot of games in the regular season. It doesn't work in the playoffs. And so here's a WTF, I guess I'll wind into this. WTF to all the Oiler fans who actually found this article and are just sending me all these comments, under the table and stuff through Vegas Hockey Now. And it's so funny watching all these clowns, prove me wrong, please prove me wrong. I love McDavid. I get grilled from the Vegas fans for how much I enjoy watching Connor McDavid. I hope the Connor McDavid does win a Stanley Cup. I don't want to do it at the Golden Knights' expense, but it would be nice to see. I just don't think it's going to happen in Edmonton, and I think it's a pretty good take. WTF?
WTF? Who was number 2? Was it LA?
LA.
Yeah, it definitely should be LA. Okay, good. Okay, so our good friend Wausau Aaron, McPhee and McCrimmon are De Niro and Pesci.
Oh, this was good. This was really
Cassidy
good.
is Leota. That's a dynamic. That's
I saw
great. WTF, the made man. WTF at @XReb_FanX. WTF have you done with Tony? He seems almost objective these days. Once in a while, I put that journalist hat on, right? I think, and I get a little serious and try to be objective, I think.
Was that the one where I responded and said that explains why no one watched that show, why the view count was too low? That was like the one that got 400 views this week because Tony was nice.
I was too nice.
Although WTF us, like I'm sitting here, we got only 400 views, oh, whatever, that's not enough. So I guess it's a huge thank you. Like I know we've said this before, but this show really, obviously a Stanley Cup run helps, but I'd like to think hopefully me and Tony are doing something you guys enjoy, because now it's really, especially if we get the show out, at night, the night before, 1,000 views is what felt like a pipe dream. Maybe I won't say what other kind of dream, but it felt like a pipe dream that we would get to this point. Now we got up, our 1,000 followers. It's up to 1,170. We're getting almost at 1,200 right now. So things have really, especially in the last 4 months, taken off. So just a big thank you for all of that. And it's a lot of fun. And man, where are we going to be a year from now, Tony? Where's the show going to be a year from now? I'm not going anywhere. I'm staying here. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
No, it's terrific. And then on the audio side, just thousands and thousands of downloads, and we're going to hit a big mark here within the next couple of weeks. We'll tell you about that for sure. When we hit that mark, for us, it's a big deal. And we appreciate, obviously, everyone tuning in through all this nonsense. So coming up this weekend,
all this nonsense.
So coming up this weekend again on Saturday, we'll post the Locked On Avalanche crossover where I said that the season was rigged and that's why VGK won. And some of their fans were like, "Oh no, it's a guy talking about the Vegas Golden Knights. This is going to be awful." And of course,
no, they had the right half of the show on. They had the right half of the show on.
I think they'll wind up liking me and sending me my flowers by the time it's all said and done. But definitely a fun fan base, and the last 2 teams that have hoisted the cup, right? So, and then the Avalanche are the favorite now. They're the favorite team to win the Stanley Cup.
I'm not buying the Avs being the favorite right now. And I'm not saying the Golden Knights should be over them, but there's so many questions right now. Questions, distractions, injuries.
Yeah,
this is a bad time to be now. Maybe it's a good time to be having these questions in July versus September, so they can address some of them. But we'll see. And they've added some depth pieces. Sound like Mike Tyson over here.
Yeah, Jonathan Drouin is now a member of the Avs, and Ryan Johansson, and they think now, and I didn't ask them this on the podcast because they were just asking me a lot of questions about VGK and about why the season was so rigged. But Gabe Landeskog, I guess they're hopefully going to see him if they make into the playoffs, which would be pretty big. That would be super.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically done for the regular season already. Like that's a done deal. So
it's a done deal.
He's on the Mark Stone LTIR plan to success.
Okay. So that's coming up again. You can catch that.
Now I'm getting all negative. Now I'm doing it.
Yeah, thanks. I'm rubbing off on you.
You are.
And then when do we go to 3 days a week while we're at it? Is that in a couple of weeks?
I don't know.
Pretty soon. We'll be on just 3 times a week. Of course, we'll get some bonus shots in there, whatever. But
yeah, I don't know.
Be here sitting in front of the computer 5 days a week.
I feel like it might not be till August 1st or July 19th or August 1st.
No,
July 19th stands out to me then for some reason.
Okay, so that's coming up here within the next couple of weeks.
I'm so glad we won the cup. Otherwise, how would we have gotten through this last 2 months? Like, how did we really? I know there's a lot of news.
How did we get through it last year?
Like, there was Robin Leonard was probably every other show, but still,
we need to do a show on Robin Leonard. No. We appreciate everyone tuning in, especially our everydayers. Thank you so much for tuning in and making us your first listen each and every day. Have a great weekend, everyone. For my man Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again on Saturday. We'll have that bonus content for you that everyone's been craving, and then back again on Monday.
YouTube only, right? YouTube only. Let's make sure they know that YouTube only.
For what?
For the bonus. Are you putting up on the audio too?
Yeah, we'll put it up on the audio.
Oh, okay, not bonus. Okay, nice. Still bonus content.
And Chris and I will be back on Monday and catch him, of course, on his
Vegas hockey now.
I was going to say Vegas everyday hockey that you watch or listen to or read.
I got everydayers there too.
Okay. We appreciate you tuning in. See you Monday right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.